Which one's strong?
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, the revised annual notice was emailed to the West Essex Tribune and the Star Ledger on January 27, 2023, and 48-hour notice was emailed to the West Essex Tribune and Star Ledger on February 1st, 2023. The agenda and resolutions for the meeting are available on www.livingstonnj.org. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purposes of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made and/or discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later date. Notice to the members of the governing body and township staff: any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of township business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. To the extent possible, this evening's Township of Livingston Council meeting will be live streamed via Facebook at www.facebook.com/LivingstonTownshipNJ. Questions or comments will also be accepted by emailing livecomments@livingstonNJ.org by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Each speaker should follow the rules of order of Livingston's Code 2-15. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Meinhardt?
I'm here.
Klein?
Here.
Pagoli? Here. Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Here.
Mayor Vieira?
Present. So, please, I'm sorry. Oh, could somebody just open that door? We have to have the door opened in the back. Thank you. Please join me in a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's keep in our thoughts and prayers the victims and their families in Turkey and Syria who have experienced the devastating earthquake. Councilmember Klein, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, and before we continue tonight's meeting, and this is just me saying this, I don't represent the rest of the council, but I do want to apologize to our community who views our meetings on social media. Prior to COVID, we were working on a plan with LTV, and we assisted them in upgrading media equipment and other equipment to improve our showing of the town council meetings. COVID changed those plans, and we want to thank Town Manager Adam Lerner for diligently working to get new and improved camera and audio equipment here in the council chambers tonight. Sorry, excuse me? Oh, Assistant Town Manager. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I call you?
Town manager.
Oh.
He got promoted.
Well, he got promoted.
Now he gets all the headache.
I think that was right on. Wait, Barry. I think that was.
So, but he got tonight's new camera equipment and new audio equipment going. The microphones that we're using here tonight are not the permanent ones. They are on back order. But I do again want to just thank the community watching us on social media for putting up with the horrible audio that they've been going through for the last 2 years or so. So I also want to welcome Andrew Munns to the Township of Livingston. Andrew will be responsible for controlling the audio and production of our meetings. So welcome, Andrew. So tonight during presentations, we're honored to recognize a township committee that each year during the holiday season brings smiles to thousands of those who visit our Camuso display. Tonight, we've invited the Camuso volunteers who work very hard to bring happiness to so many people. This committee is led by Tom Cooney, the head elf of our Camuso committee. Tom, to you and your elves, we want to just say thank you. And why don't you share a couple words with us up here and those watching on social media and LTV. Tom, when you come up, just use the microphone.
Certainly. And you are an elf as well.
Yes.
And I did get some pictures for
Okay.
you that I promised.
Okay, but use the microphone, Tom. Don't fret the microphone.
You can hit the lights so we can.
Why do I always have to do all the talking?
Because you're the head.
Not even. This is going to be 5. Trust me.
15, hold on.
The mayor asked me to put some
You can have all the time in the
together.
world because you brought so much happiness to so many people.
Oh, yes, I know. All right, so most people are very familiar with the Camuso display. The mayor wanted me to show some photos. You guys have all worked on it, so you're familiar with them. Uh-oh. Andrew?
We're already experiencing technical difficulties.
Yikes.
You probably have to get closer to the computer, let's see.
The computer's dinging.
There you go.
See, that's why we need a tech guy. Okay, so I'll do these really quickly because everyone's been there, I'm sure, and seen these. There's our monstrous tree, my arch nemesis. There's our Camuso carolers, all original characters from the original collection. Frosty and many of his friends behind him. Oh, boy. There's our skating pond, which will be improved this year if we can get all the parts we need. There's the big guy. Everybody knows him. And there is our, well, we call it the North Pole, but we all know that penguins are from the South Pole. But you can see in the back climbing over the mountains is our the newest member of our collection is the abominable snow monster. He was quite a hit this year. Then we have our toy shop, where they make the toys. The paint shop, where they paint the toys. And the gift wrap shop, where they wrap the toys. And there's our firehouse. Now, for those who are not familiar, people ask all the time why the number on the firehouse is 343. For those who don't know, that's how many firefighters died in the World Trade Center. That's why we chose that number. And Stacy and Pat, where are you guys? I've already looked at the materials. Adjacent to this next year will be a first aid squad building and a new ambulance, I promise. So that will expand a little bit. So putting the display away every year was an absolute nightmare. Muddy, rainy, cold, everything you could think the weather could do to us, it did. And everyone knows we had those lovely storage trailers there for many, many years. They did the job, but it was getting a little bit hard. And on top of it all, COVID hit us. So here are the guys, all packed in the trailer, ready to go. We were the only display in the area that was open that year that COVID shutdown was in place. So we had a lot of good crowds that year. 6 feet apart, I might add. So, this is probably the happiest day of our Camuso lives. This is the new storage barn being delivered at 6:30 in the morning. So, we were all excited. The company from Pennsylvania was supposed to come and start building it right away, but then Mother Nature decided otherwise. So, what do? You call in favors, and you move it all. So that's what we did. And then shortly thereafter, when the coast was clear, our Amish friends came from Pennsylvania. How they drilled those footings in frozen dirt, I have no idea, but they moved pretty quickly. The thing went up like a Tinker toy set, and they raised the rafters very quickly, and then it looked like that, very quickly. You see all the snow? That's what it looked like from the back. And then the DPW came in to help us. They leveled the ground so we could pour the concrete floor. They built the porch on the side with the retaining wall. They also did all of the electrical work inside, so we are very appreciative. The mayor and council, they did a fantastic job for us, really did. We can't thank them enough. And there you go. That's what it looks like. So now the barn is part of the display. The plan this year is this is going to look more like a Willy Wonka scene next year with all the candy we're going to build. But it works just like that if we have to. And the second floor is where we store all the characters. It used to take us at least one full day to move all the characters into the trailers. Now, it takes about 90 minutes to get them all inside. And we use the lift as an elevator, take the window out, everything goes in no time. And there's Huey waving goodbye to the trailers. So just a couple of quick thank yous, Mr. Mayor. We have to thank all of you, everybody that worked on this project, from everyone in Barry's office, the finance department, the council, the mayors, Rudy, he's not here now, but he was involved, everybody. It was quite the journey. I don't know if I would do it again, but it was quite the journey. DPW, obviously, they help us every year with the mulch, which has saved us, really. West Essex Tribune, their coverage of this has been outstanding, and they bring the crowds in. All of our sponsors, it's the only reason we're still going. And the support from the fire department, the squad, police, auxiliary police, and certainly the community. Without them and all the support and all of the people coming out, we wouldn't have anything to do. How's that?
That's really good, and you know what, the volunteers have to be thanked. It's not that we have a choice. When it rains, we work in it. When it's nice weather, we work in it. When it's freezing cold, we work in it. And when it snows, we pray that the snow goes away.
Yeah.
And we have to shovel it. But the town council does have a citation for the Camuso committee. So, you know, we are so thankful for everything that you do, the smiles you put on the face. I see former Mayor Santola down in the audience, and if it wasn't for you, I don't think that we would have a Camuso display. I think it was under you that we actually ended up getting a lot of the characters from Ernie Camuso. If you're going to use the microphone.
You should be apologizing to them.
I've apologized to all of them individually.
So why don't we go down and make a citation? Unless you want them to come up?
No, the committee.
Yeah, why they come up?
So, okay, so why don't we do
You're not leaving me
that?
up here alone.
So, but I'll go down.
Yeah, I think it's easier, I think it's easier if I stay up here. Rosie, I think you should stand up
Rosie's
here.
leg is gonna fall.
No, Rosie should stand up here. I think you should stand up here.
Was that fast enough for you?
I've been sick. I don't want to getting over something. I don't want to pass it along.
Yes.
Well done, thank you.
So with that being said, could I just have not broken my
Under there, down by the,
Yeah.
so your right one, yeah.
Yeah. My foot was on the second hand.
This is a really big picture. Oh, my God. Wow, I think we've got everybody out here. So,
You have to move the microphone. Oh, I'm sorry, did I take your leg?
again,
It's okay.
the mayor and members of the Livingston Township Council are pleased to honor and thank the volunteer members of the Camuso Collection Preservation Committee, who continue to bring happiness, enjoyment, and smiles by showcasing Livingston's Camuso holiday display and keeping the tradition of Ernie Camuso alive. We honor the volunteer elves that are committed to the continuous care of the Camuso display and their time spent in preserving long-lasting memories for thousands of people each year, and it's signed by all the council members. So thank you very much for everything that you guys
He doesn't even live in Livingston. He doesn't even vote for these guys. Steve, come on.
I see Mike's getting ready.
Russ, you are filming there?
35 millimeter film.
Plaque that we could hang in the Camuso, in the office. So good. Hey, thank you very much again, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Good work, Elvis.
How's your trip?
Good.
Nice weather?
Good, how are you? Nice to see you. Oh, yeah, party.
Kim, I'm not running the show.
Take care.
I told Al, she said more the first night than Al said for you.
I've been sick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the planning.
It's getting signed.
How was that?
That was a 4-hour class.
So tonight, we're also honored to have another guest joining us representing the American Jewish Committee. Councilman Klein, would you make that introduction?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. You can hear me? Is that all right? So I wanted to please call up. What's that? Oh, sorry. I wanted to please call up, and I want to make sure I'm saying this right, but Dina Dubovsky, right? Am I saying? Okay. So Dina is here representing the New Jersey, I guess, is it a chapter of American Region? Okay, American Jewish Committee. And she's here to talk to us about the importance of considering passing a resolution defining anti-Semitism. So if you could please give us some background and talk about, how we should be thinking about this.
Welcome.
Thank you all so much for having me. I don't know, is this working? Okay. So I want to start by giving you a brief overview of AJC. We were formed in 1908 by a group of American Jews in response to the pogroms in Kishinev, Russia. Today we have over 24 regional offices, 14 international offices, and 36 international partnerships. Our region covers everything from Trenton all the way up to Mahwah. Today, I'm here to ask you to adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism, not a short name. The definition defines anti-Semitism as a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and/or their property, towards Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. The definition also provides over a dozen examples. The definition has been adopted by dozens of countries, multilateral organizations, sports teams, universities. A little bit closer to home, there's towns and municipalities all around the state that have adopted this definition, and the New Jersey League of Municipalities has also adopted this definition. It is the authoritative definition of anti-Semitism. So why now? There's really no secret that anti-Semitism is on the rise. We see it from celebrities and politicians, we see it on social media, we see it in schools, we see it pretty much everywhere. Today, AJC released their 2022, we're a little bit late, but our 2022 report on anti-Semitism. It is the only resource that details how anti-Semitism affects the lives and the actions of Jews and compares those findings to how the American general public perceives the threat of anti-Semitism. I am going to read some of these statistics because the results came out today, but the big picture shows that anti-Semitism is affecting American Jews and their sense of security, particularly among young American Jews. So 41% of U.S. Jews surveyed said that the status of Jews in America is less secure than it was a year ago. Last year, 31% said that. So it went up 10% this year. 1 in 5 American Jews feel somewhat or very unsafe when attending Jewish institutions because of anti-Semitism. And 1 in 4 American Jews ages 18 to 29 who have experienced anti-Semitism online said that that encounter made them feel physically unsafe. Here in New Jersey, one needn't look very far to see the devastating effects of anti-Semitism. It's violent, it's scary, and it's sometimes deadly. Whether it be the Jersey City kosher grocery store mass shooting in 2019, the attempted firebombing last week at Temple Near to Mead in Bloomfield, the credible threat to all New Jersey synagogues, or swastikas drawn on desks here in Livingston, it's very clear that the time is now to adopt this definition, and it's impacting all aspects of lives. Our report also looked at the general public's view of anti-Semitism, and it found that over 9 out of 10 U.S. adults believe that anti-Semitism is a problem for everybody, not just American Jews. So it is clear the time is now to adopt the definition as a tool for education and support. I wanted to thank you for having us this evening. I do have a copy of a sample resolution if you'd like to see it. Otherwise, I can email it tomorrow. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you very much. And tonight, the town council will be supporting a resolution confronting and combating anti-Semitism in our communities. Does anybody have any questions?
I would just let you know, speaking with your associate, Rabbi Levy.
Yes.
He already had forwarded us a sample resolution, and we've used that to create a resolution that expresses how Livingston might feel.
Wonderful.
So, and we're going to vote on that tonight.
Great, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So Eileen Fishman had contacted me that she would not be able to attend tonight's meeting. However, she will be here next week with a report. Approval of minutes pending any corrections. We have the regular and conference meeting minutes, January 23rd, 2023, and we have the closed session, January 23rd, 2023. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes pending corrections? Move. May I have a second? All in favor? Opposed?
I'm going to vote present or recuse just because I wasn't here last week.
Thank you, Councilman.
I've read them, but I...
All right, Mayor, I guess Councilman Klein abstains.
Okay.
Or President not voting. President not voting.
Great, thank you very much. That brings us down to public comments on agenda items only. May I have a motion to open the public comment portion on agenda items only?
So moved.
Moved, may I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? So at this time, the meeting is now open for agenda items only. There's a 4-minute time limit per person. When you come up to the microphone, please give your name and address. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, Justin Alford, 56 Amherst Place. A few quick points on Ordinance 0120-23, amending the Township Code for insurance. This looks like this was a law passed by Trenton asking the localities just to rubber stamp the policy. And I understand there may be some incentive for us to collect from the business owners and rental units here, but this is a really poor policy. Not sure whether or not our representatives in Trenton voted for this or not. It doesn't make a lot of sense. What we're doing is we're imposing a blanket risk assessment across all small businesses, and that's the exact opposite of what we should be doing. What we should be doing is empowering people who live and work locally to make a risk assessment on the places where they live and work, and to moderate that risk. And we're not doing this. This is a really bad idea. I'd like to see an impact statement, something from our representatives who thought this was possibly a good idea if they voted for this. Nobody went to the bid on this and asked them whether they thought it was a good idea. It is the wrong direction. We should pull this. We have no obligation to rubber stamp it. It doesn't need to be done tonight. We should get more information on this before we move forward with it. Point 2. Ordinance 03-2023, designated shopping center district of the town of Livingston. It's unclear from the resolution what we're talking about here. A little bit of research. I believe we're talking about the mall area, and we're talking about putting in some healthcare training or something in the mall. This is a Band-Aid that's not needed there. We need a master plan with respect to the mall. This doesn't seem like the right way of moving forward. Point 3, Resolution 23081, Resolution 23.082, endorsing the New Jersey Reparations Task Force Act. No information about this. That idea of reparations, that's like throwing gasoline on a fire. That is a real issue. If any member of this council does not support reparations, we should not be, does not support the payment of reparations per se, we should not be doing this. We have a greater responsibility here. We can fix many of the problems that have been plaguing predominantly minority communities in our county. It's fixable. There's a bunch of issues. The way we assess taxes is fundamentally on its face racist. The way that we allow title to real property to remain outside of the community in perpetuity has caused these minority communities to suffer since 1967, and now it's starting to affect our community as well. The way we impose standardized credit scores in minority communities is something that is easy to change, but to throw this off to some state act is just, it's really governance by platitude. It seems like we're doing something nice for Black History Month, but I think that we could do a whole lot more, and we should do a whole lot more, and we should take a real leadership position rather than just throwing this off there. Point 4, 23092, authorizing redevelopment agreement, Brightview Senior Living Development. We ought to just throw the brakes on this. This was the YMCA property. We controlled 2 seats. YMCA sold this property to a Maryland LLC. We're putting up another long-term care facility next to the one that we already have. That property could be invaluable to a healthy, growing community. We know that there are fundamental problems with the way, with the way that the long-term care facilities draw value out of the community. We ought to be capturing that property and using it to potentially put up an outdoor swimming pool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin. And just to let you know, 23092 will be pulled tonight on the agenda. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment on agenda items? We're going to get you the microphone.
Good evening. I'm Brenda Beavers. I live at 156 East Cedar Street, Cedar Commons. Tonight, I also represent the Social Justice Committee here in town. I'm writing to express my strong support for the Township of Livingston to back the state reparations bill that establishes the New Jersey Reparations Task Force. This task force is an important step towards acknowledging and addressing the systematic racial discrimination and the harm caused by New Jersey's role in America's institution of slavery. As a community, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and rectify the wrongs of the past. Reparations are a necessary and just way to begin to heal the deep wound caused by the centuries of systemic racism and discrimination. This bill will help us to understand the extent of the harm and the best ways to address it. I'd like to also emphasize the importance majority white suburban communities, similar to Livingston's, support reparations. As a community that has largely benefited from systematic racism, it is our responsibility to actively work towards rectifying the harm caused by this legacy of discrimination. Supporting reparations is not just a matter of justice, but is also an opportunity for our community to come together and work towards a more equitable future for all residents of New Jersey. I urge the Town Council to support this bill and to be a leader in promoting justice and equity for all residents of New Jersey. Our community has a rich history, and it is a time that we acknowledge and make amends for the painful parts of our past so that we can move forward towards a more equitable future. Thank you for your consideration and for your leadership on this important issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to make comment? Name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Lori Beecham, 37 South Ashby Avenue in Livingston. So I just wanted to thank all of the members of the Town Council for taking up this important resolution in support of a reparations task force in New Jersey. And I'm hoping that you will join we Livingstonians will join the almost 20 other towns and municipalities, including, or in addition to counties, including Essex, who have passed these resolutions. As you may know, I live in Livingston, and I also work for the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, which has been a strong advocate and proponent of these resolutions. So many people in New Jersey don't realize how deeply New Jersey was involved in slavery, and that it was actually called the slave state of the North. We can be forgiven for that. It's not something we were often taught in school, and a lot of us think of slavery and these sort of issues as a Southern thing, but New Jersey was actually the last northern state to abolish slavery. And that may sound like something that happened a long, long time ago, but the oppression obviously is not something that ended in the 1800s. We had our own Jim Crow in New Jersey. We've had redlining, restrictive covenants that's actually written into contracts, into housing contracts. I've seen them, and it's shocking to look at them saying that black people can't own those homes. Of the almost 70,000 people in New York and northern Jersey who got GI benefits, all but 100 of them were white. Yet there were 25,000 black New Jerseyans who served in World War II. And as we know, the GI Bill was what helped build the middle class, but that was actually build the middle class for white people. So obviously each of these things over the generations compounded one on top of the other and prevented many black people from building wealth or having intergenerational wealth that so many of us take for granted. And even though we're one of the most diverse states in New Jersey, which is something to celebrate, we now actually have some of the worst racial disparities in the whole country. We have one of the largest racial wealth gaps, gaps in health, gaps in criminal justice, and believe it or not, our schools are actually the 6th most segregated in all of the country, including southern states. And these things didn't happen because of individual behaviors or even because of individual racism. We are because of policy upon policy, and it's all institutional, which is why they call it structural or systemic racism. So a reparations task force can study this history that's unique to New Jersey and see what kind of repair being reparations, makes sense for our unique situation. And to see how we can invest as a state where we've deliberately disinvested over the generations in black communities. So I'm really grateful for the town council for stepping up on this issue and hopefully supporting this resolution. I know we had a comment before. Yes, a task force is really only a very beginning baby step, but we have to start somewhere and have the conversation. I also wanted to quickly share a few words from Rabbi Weisberg of Temple B'nai Abraham, who wasn't able to come tonight, but he wanted everyone to know that he strongly supports the resolution. He said, "We have an obligation to deal with the wrongs of our past, to investigate what we've done, to come clean and express it, and to take action to never repeat those mistakes again." This approach goes back to Maimonides, and it is how we Jews engage in the process of teshuvah, or repentance. This applies to us as a collective through time and space. We know that New Jersey has done wrong in the past through participating in the slave trade. What we don't know is the extent of what we've done. To make sure that we can move forward together with a clean slate, we need to do the work and come clean on our history. I urge the town of Livingston to support the task force. With the passing of the task force, we can uncover the truth of our past and move forward to fullness. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else want to make any comments? Welcome, Stacy. Name and address for the record.
Stacy Abenstein, 11 Browning Drive. All right. I want to thank Mayor Vieira and the council for the resolution against anti-Semitism on the agenda and for addressing reparations by looking to pass a resolution encouraging our state legislature to create a reparations task force. Although some people feel the council should only address issues that are specific to Livingston, I have another point of view. I believe Livingston is part of a larger community in Essex County, in New Jersey, and in the U.S. I'd like to speak on a quote by prominent German pastor Martin Niemöller, written during World War II, that many people are familiar with. It starts with, "First they came for the socialists, but I would like to change the words to reflect the world in its current state. First, they came for the African Americans, and I did not speak out because I was not an African American. Then they came for the AAPI community, and I did not speak out because I was not AAPI. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for women's rights, and I did not speak out because I was not a woman. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Let's stand together as a community and continue to speak out for each other. The alternative is unbearable. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment? Name and address for the record.
Yes, Amy Ip, 101 Martin Road. I'm representing the Livingston League of Women Voters. Last week, our local League of Women Voters voted to approve to support the New Jersey Assembly Bill A 938 and Senate Bill S 386, which will create the New Jersey Reparations Task Force to study and develop reparations proposals. Local leagues take positions on issues of state importance for further study. As it has been already said, New Jersey has been called the slave state of the North, and the effects are still felt today. Thank you for your consideration of this important legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment? Madam Clerk, is there any written comments been received?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Hearing no more comments, may I have a motion to close the public portion on agenda items only?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Thank you. We are moving. We are moving to final ordinance. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 01-2023 by title.
Ordinance 1-2023, amending the Township Code by creating Chapter 327 entitled Liability Insurance for Business Owners and Rental Unit Owners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing on ordinance number 01-23 is now opened. If you need to come to the microphone, please give your name and address. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing? It's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Okay. May I have a motion to move the ordinance?
So moved.
Moved. May I have a second?
Second.
Do any council members have any comments on ordinance 01-23?
Mayor, I would just say I wasn't here for the initial reading, but I did read I have read through the information on it last week, and so I did watch the meeting from last week. So, Jared, I'm eligible to vote, correct?
Yes, Councilman, you could vote. And just, responding to Mr. Alpert's comment on the ordinance, this was a bill signed into the legislature by New Jersey. It requires the registration of these types of certificates. And I think what the ordinance does, it protects the township in that we could charge an administration fee for filing these. It's going to be additional work, however the township handles tracking and receiving these. So it not only codifies it, but it's going to allow us to come up with a way to charge an administration fee if we so choose.
Thank you, Mr. Cantor. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Councilmember Meinhardt?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Begoli? Yes. Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Yes.
Mayor Viera?
Yes. We're now proceeding to introduction.
Ordinance.
Madam Clerk, could you read ordinance number 02-23 by title?
Ordinance 2-2023, amending and supplementing Chapter 6 Boards, Committees, and Commissions, Article 2, Environmental Commission.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 02?
Move on first
Oh,
reading.
I'm sorry. May I have a mover?
Move on first reading.
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion?
I will discuss, I'm very happy that we're amending this ordinance in order to allow students from the high school to participate. In order to allow students from the high school to be active participants, I think it's really great for our town. It's great to have some youth involved in our committees and be a part of voicing their opinions. So I really think that this was really great and in favor of our high schoolers and our student community. So thank you for that.
Okay, any other?
Yes, I wasn't going to say anything, but Councilwoman Bagoli, as the liaison to the LEC, exactly what you just said. We have a couple regular participants, high schoolers, and the ideas that come out of them are very good compared to us old people. So it's been a pleasant change, and now we're actually codifying it here in an ordinance. So I'm going to vote yes in 2 weeks when we actually vote on it.
I think it's wonderful.
Great. Any other discussion? Great. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Councilmembers Meinhardt?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Begoli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Yes.
Mayor Viera?
Yes.
And Mayor, this will be heard on February 27th.
Good. Madam Clerk, could you please read ordinance number 03-2023?
Ordinance 3-2023, amending Chapter 170, Section 113, DS, Design Shopping Center District of the Code of the Township of Livingston.
May I have a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Move on first reading.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please proceed with the roll call?
Councilmembers Meinhardt?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Begoli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Yes.
Mayor Viera?
Yes.
And Mayor, this will be heard on the March 13th meeting.
Great, thank you very much. At this point, we're at the point of the consent agenda. All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of general orders. For the public information, tonight we are removing resolutions 23-84, 23-89, and 23-92, and we're pulling it from the agenda this evening. Madam Clerk, will you please read the resolutions on the consent agenda by title and resolution?
Resolution 23-080, authorizing alcoholic beverages in designated public recreation areas. Resolution 23-081, confronting and combating anti-Semitism in our communities. Resolution 23-082, endorsing the New Jersey Reparations Task Force Act. Resolution 23-083, approving affordable housing agreement with Community Options, Inc. Resolution 23-085, accepting a grant from New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for $32,400 under the fiscal year 2023 Safe and Secure Communities Program. Resolution 23-086, authorizing award of a contract to Beacon Consulting and Services, LLC. Resolution 23-087, authorizing award of a contract to H2M Associates, Inc. Resolution 23-088, authorizing the award of a contract to DLS Contracting, Inc. Resolution 23-090, authorizing purchases under the State of New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Program. Resolution 23-091, rejecting bid for court reporter services. Resolution 23-093, authorizing the award of a contract to Antonelli Cantor Rivera, Affordable Housing Council. Resolution 23-094, authorizing the use of a design-build process for the development and construction of the future DPW facility on property identified as Block 102, Lot 12 on the tax maps of the Township of Livingston. And Mayor, if I could just add, there was a typo on Resolution 23-080. Summerfest is June 11th, and we will correct the typo.
Thank you, Carolyn. Do any members of the council wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and voting? Okay. May I have a motion to approve all the resolutions on the consent agenda?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Meinhardt?
I vote yes. I just want to just quickly make a comment on Resolution 23-093, the authorizing the award of contract to Antonelli Cantor and Rivera. Just want to thank the entire team of this law firm for all the work that they have done last year and this year as well. The hard work that you have done, and this town is very much appreciative of it, and this council is very much appreciative. We look forward to continuing the good work that you and your team are doing, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
I vote yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Begoli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Yes.
Mayor Viera?
Yes. At this time, we are on the public portion. So may I make a motion? May I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject?
Motion to open the public.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? If anybody has any, wants to come up to the microphone, and the public portion is now open. There is a 3-minute limit. When you come up, please give your name and address.
Howard Parkway. As you should know by now, my son Josh and I want to partner with you to safely bring cannabis to Livingston. As a reminder, we have a conditional retail license from the state, which is currently set to expire in about 2 months. We have recently met with an owner of a shopping center here in Livingston who has expressed interest in leasing to us, pending your approval. Now we just need the town resolution in order to move forward. We would like to meet in conference session with you on February 27th to discuss details with you further, and then be able to set a council vote for March 13th. We know the community wants a local retail dispensary. They didn't vote with an overwhelming majority in favor of cannabis to then have to go elsewhere. We'll be bringing dozens of new jobs to Livingston, additional tax revenues, and increased traffic for other already existing businesses in the area. And we will only be doing this in a safe and compliant manner for all. In addition, we thought that there was going to be at this meeting tonight the presentation of the planning board subcommittee report on cannabis. So we'll hope to see that soon as well, so we can, have a direction of where the town is looking to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barry, I do have a question. Do we know when that report is going?
I have it, and it'll be sent out to the council tomorrow, and then I guess if you want to have a presentation, I can certainly see if Mr. Klein and Mr. Fernandez, the other members of the subcommittee, can attend the next meeting.
Yeah, let's see. I would like it here at the regular meeting if they're going to do a presentation, although we have the pool committee next week, so
Okay.
let's see what our schedule looks like. But, so it is ready and to be presented to the council? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll send it out.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Hi, Mr. Mayor. Justin Alper, 56 Amherst Place. One, we should move forward with cannabis policy. It's been a long time now. Two, with respect to the reparations, don't wait for the task force report. There are things that we could be doing in Essex County right now, opportunity to express real leadership. Don't wait for the task force report. Three, with respect to the insurance, we've now placed the town in an antagonistic position against the people who live and work here. It is a mistake. And now we're subject to a squeeze play because they're paying money into the insurance risk arbitrage industry, and what's happening to that money? Well, we see it coming right back and purchasing real property from the state senator's son who's flipping it out to Ohio insurance companies. There's a real fundamental problem with insurance. We don't have an underlying accountability. The people who are subject to this have to or should want to know that the insurance companies are not taking advantage of them. We ought to be pressing for an accountability. Lastly, with respect to the Sustainable Essex Alliance, another whale washed up on the beach in New Jersey today. Yesterday it was down in Virginia. What's happening is that the sonar that they're using to identify where they're going to be putting these windmills out in the water is driving the animal life crazy, and then the pilings as well. The Dutch, French, and Copenhagen, Denmark, companies that are operating this, they actually pulled a permit from NOAA to harass the animal life as incidental to what they're doing. And as part of that permit, NOAA says, well, if you start killing the whales, we're going to have to pull it. We don't think that they're really going to. The Sustainable Essex Alliance has a responsibility to raise its hand and say, hey, what's going on here? What are we doing? And we ought to be pushing for it. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Justin. Is there anyone else who would like to make any comments? Madam Clerk, has there been any written public comments received by your office?
No, Mayor, there hasn't.
So may I have a motion to close the public portion on any subject?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Great, thank you. At this point, we're up to reports of township officials and professionals. Barry?
Yeah, a couple things. One of the resolutions, which thank you for the council for passing, you noticed was the authorization of the design-build process. You'll recall the DPW's been a work in progress, particularly with COVID and all that, and our initial foray into thinking we had one method of doing it, which then the court subsequently struck down. The legislature did pass the design-build process, and the final rules were promulgated in December, so now we're able to move forward expeditiously. So hopefully that'll really start to pick up steam, and we can see something coming up out of the ground this year. In addition, I want to let you know, our CFO, Ann Cucci, is here. We continue to work on the budget, putting all that together, but recognizing a number of pressing capital needs for some SYLS improvements, the purchase of LPRs and other things. What we're going to have for you is we're going to do, and we've done this in the past before, the temporary budget will fully fund the capital improvement fund, which is the 5% down payment on bond ordinances, which will allow us to introduce a bond ordinance for our capital projects, again, including things like the LPRs and some of the SYLS stuff that's time sensitive, and even some of the road projects. So we hope to have that ordinance, I think, at the next meeting for introduction. So it'll be in advance of finalizing the full budget, so that'll allow us to expedite that. And I know that's been a priority for the council, and fortunately able to do that. Beyond that, I think those we do have a couple items on closed session that I'll discuss later, but those were the main points I wanted to hit. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Deputy Township Manager Russ Jones, anything?
Nothing to report this.
Good. Let me get this right now. Adam, Assistant Township Manager. Adam Lerner, anything, Adam? No. Great. Carolyn, anything?
Nothing for me, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Ann, anything?
Yes. Please have something. Last week, we closed on the iBank short-term notes. In other words, the loan itself, we can now draw down on the total amount of money that we already authorized last year, $26.1 million. The good news about this is there's no interest being charged now. It'll be interest-free, so we're not issuing bond anticipation notes and guessing how much we need and paying interest. That interest will be rolled into the final loan, which will be a few years from now. That's really good news, and it's half the interest, so it'll only be 50%. Plus, we have the forgiveness of the principal. And also, Barry and I met with another iBank group, which is different. It's for the more for the roads and transportation, and it's a little bit easier than the water loans. And that's, again, the same kind of thing, smaller projects we talked about doing, and perhaps being able to fund those projects with a 50% interest-free loan. So we're working on trying to save us some money there.
Great. Thank you very much, Ann.
Mayor, if I could, because Ms. Cucci just reminded me. So one, for anyone who hasn't been following all this, the iBank is a state financing mechanism. The initial batch that she's talking to is for the PFAS water repairs and remediations of facilities we have to build. So it's great news that we're able to close on those loans. As a little additional update to that, and we'll have something more comprehensive coming out sooner, those projects are moving along. All the facility design plans have been submitted to the DEP for approval. As soon as we get those approvals and permits, we'll be able to go out to bid and start constructing those. Again, the priority one will be the highest producing wells will be remediated first, so we can get the most water cleaned up first, and allow us, as we get towards the tail end, we should be able to even shut off some of them before they get finished. So just it was a reminder when she talked about the iBank. So thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Mr. Cantor, before I ask, we're going to be going into closed session after this meeting. Is there anything that you can legally tell us why we're going into closed session, any of the topics, and why we're going into closed session? And maybe Barry can actually help you on that one.
Sure, Mayor. The Livingston Advisory Committee, we're having some issues, some potential. We're trying to give some attorney-client privilege advice on how to avoid some litigation related to some of the committees and its events. So I think it's appropriate to conduct that in closed at this time. Anything that can be disclosed, we'll certainly do that at the next meeting. But no action will be taken following closed on that. Fair share housing, for an update, the compliance hearing was set by the court. It will be March 17th, 2023. There's quite a few pending motions out there, and I'll go through those motions and the litigation with this council, but there will be a compliance hearing held before the court on March 17th, 2023. And as part of that court appearance, the Esplanade, which is the Westminster Hotel, they have a motion that they filed. They're trying to intervene in our fair share housing litigation. They're trying to bring units in. This township has opposed that motion to intervene. We've opposed that the Esplanade is part of our agreement. Papers have been filed. Our opposition will be filed shortly because the court set a return date of March 17th for that motion also. So those two things will be heard. And a compliance hearing is to go through our agreement and see if the township is compliant with the terms of the agreement. There are some issues and some litigation that I will reserve for close, but that's generally the framework that can be disclosed to the public currently. Habitat for Humanity, I'll defer to our township manager. I presume it has to just do with our ongoing
Yeah,
issues
just
with
an update
Habitat.
on, I did have a subsequent conversation with Mr. Farrell.
And number 4, I'm actually not sure what that is.
I think that in part is the sculptures and the ongoing public speech, government speech, public forum.
Okay.
All those issues.
And I think 5, there's going to be discussion on our tax appeal council. And I'd like to add a quick Michelle Mead litigation update. Actually, I could probably just do it in open. A trial date has been set for October of 2023, so we don't need to go into close for that.
Okay.
There is no point of order from the audience, Mr. Appler, but
I didn't hear him.
Or be held in public. It's potential litigation.
Well, I think eventually things will be in public. At this point, there's attorney-client privilege and attorney advice on exactly how the policy would be set that could potentially implicate litigation or challenges, and I think at this point, it's litigation.
potential
avoidance.
litigation, Mr. Alpert. So anything that's discussed in close, I'll certainly make it part of my report next week to the extent that it can be open.
Thank you, Jared. Do you have anything else to add?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Council Member Meinhardt.
I just want to give a shout out. First of all, a couple weeks ago, we had a big day on a Sunday. We had the flag, unveiling of the flag, Canadian Independence or Liberty Day, I think it's called, and also.
Republic Day.
I'm sorry, which day?
Republic?
Republic Day, thank you. And also, we had the big rally here in town. I want to thank all the participants, all the people who organized it, but a special shout out to our DPW on that day. They worked 2 big events that day. They had everything well organized, well structured, and there was a 3rd event also that day as well. I know, but I was not able to make it. I had to go somewhere else. But yes, but the Fort Chaplains. So they did that as well, the community center. So they did a great job, as always. The DPW does a great job for this town. I want to give them a special shout out.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Klein?
I wanted to first say to the town manager, there were a lot of important things moving forward. We're getting updates on this meeting, and it's good to hear those things, so thank you for that. One of the ones that we talked about was LPRs. I think that more than anything else, the people in this town are worried about public safety, and that's what people reach out to me about more often than any other subject. And this is the most important thing that we're being advised that we can do to enhance public safety. And I'm proud that we're able to move forward even beyond the normal speed where we've been working on, waiting for the budget, the capital budget to pass and so forth. We're moving forward faster than that. And I think people in the town will be happy to understand that. I also want to just say, thank you for we had 300 people at the gazebo on Sunday for a rally against anti-Semitism, which we had the previous definition we talked about. There's been one of the incidences that was not mentioned by that speaker was that we also had a Saudi national who was hiding out in our town and had personal journals that had anti-Semitic and statements written in them, and we don't know what his intentions were here in this town. But I think it's suffice to say, none of us can be happy that that was happening, and we could all be afraid about what could have resulted from that if our Livingston Police Department had done such great work. They really, I want to congratulate the chief, Chief Marshutz, and the captains, and the entire department for really making a difference in terms of public safety on their hard work with that issue. So I want to acknowledge that. But I also want to talk specifically about the event that we had. I want to thank Rabbis Simeon Cohn and David Weisberg, who helped to organize it, and all the elected officials, especially Congressman Gottheimer, who came down from Bergen County. He's, I think, the only Jewish representative from New Jersey, and he spoke very well, and his presence was really felt. It was very special that he was able to make time to come down and speak to us on how he saw anti-Semitism in the country, and it certainly gives me, it certainly makes me feel better to know that he was just put on our Intelligence Senate, the Intelligence House Committee, which is a really impressive position for such a young House member to get. In addition to him, there were a lot of other elected officials that spoke, and we thank, for example, Mikey Sherrill also for sending her representatives, and Governor Cody, and Assemblyman McKeon, among others, and Pat Siebold as well. And all the religious leaders that came and spoke. I think it was a really meaningful rally for the people that were there. And I was glad to see that it was 45 degrees instead of 12 degrees, which had been only about 12 hours before that, so it warmed up nicely. And so thanks again to all the participants. We really appreciate it.
Anything else, Councilman?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Begoli?
So I want to concur with Councilmember Meinhardt on his congratulations and thank yous to the DPW for putting together 3 events. Was it last weekend already? Oh my God.
Sunday.
Last Sunday. Yeah, it's been a week. I want to also thank the chairs of the LCDI for putting together Indian Republic Day and the Leo kids who came out and sang beautifully. If you had a chance to be there, I was so impressed by the singing of the national anthem and our own board president singing the Indian national anthem as well. So it was a beautiful event. I want to thank you for thank Nalit and Asha for putting that together, and it was incredible. I also want to speak out against in support of our anti-Semitism rally that we had, and to thank our clergy for their participation. I did not pull the agenda on reparations tonight, but I did want to say about, in conjunction with our anti-Semitism resolution tonight, the reparations agenda and our anti-Semitism rally that we had, there are some words in keeping with our Jewish tradition that we hold to repair for harm done and be completed through a process of teshuvah, which Rabbi Weisberg reminded us of tonight. And that's just telling us to cease ongoing harm and making amends for all that's already been done, and that we all have a collective responsibility for the damages caused. And I think in line with how we join together as a community against anti-Semitism, against how we join as a community for reparations, I think this council, I am very proud of this council for always doing what's right and for always putting what's good forward and working towards eliminating all those things that are not within our own collective hearts. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Yes. A lot of the thank yous were already given out, so I echo my fellow council members on what Councilwoman Begoli was just talking about. I also thank the back row for coming out and speaking so eloquently tonight, and Lori in particular with the statistics are just really hard-hitting statistics when you think about that. So thank you all for coming out and speaking. Justin, you had me thinking about the whales and the, you try to do something good with the renewable energy, and is it affecting, other marine life and everything like that. So anyway, on substantive with the LEC, just a thanks again to my council and Jared Canner for redrafting and expanding the LEC. And thank you for all voting for it, and the LEC for helping draft it as well. So that's it. Thanks.
Right.
Oh, and I hope the new audiovisual, everyone at home and TV land and wherever could hear all the great comments that were made tonight. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I'm not going to repeat everything that was set up here, and I echo everything. And we have such great employees that at least I take them for granted. I always don't thank them, but definitely our DPW and our police, our auxiliary, all of our volunteers are so wonderful, so thank them. I will let everyone know that at our February 27th regular meeting, the Vision 2020 Pool Subcommittee will make a presentation to us on what steps they're going to take to gather community input regarding Livingston's public pool issues. That presentation will take place here in the council chambers, where it can be shown on social media and LTV. I did meet with the Vision 2020 co-chairs and their chair of the pool committee. The committee over the years has done so much research that, you know, they have a lot of this information. They just need to update a lot of it. And I've requested from them that they do need to get community input before recommendations can be made to us. And we're hoping that they get to work quickly and that their recommendations come before us again here in this room at a June meeting. Also, Barry and Jared, at the next conference meeting, can we talk about plans to stop the illegal dumping over at the community center where they're dumping electronics and paper? I know the recycling committee has made some good suggestions, and I'm hoping that we can get some of them implemented.
Sure, Mayor. Sure.
Talking about electronic recycling, I know this is far away, but this year seems to be going very fast. The next Livingston Recycling and Paper Shredding will be June 11th, and it's back at the community center. Please don't do it before June 11th. And then,
There's one in April.
oh, there is one in April? Do you have that date at all?
I do, it's April 15th.
So there is one in April, I skipped.
I believe the beginning of April. We had 3 a year, April, June, and October.
Oh, I didn't, you know what, I didn't even have the April one on my calendar, so I apologize. So,
Looking for it.
so as Carolyn is looking for it, as I mentioned last meeting, I have the honor of being mayor, and you know what, that honor, it comes with also performing weddings, and I want to congratulate Livingston residents, E-Man and Annalise, and offer them much happiness and love. Do you have that date?
April 15th.
April 15th is the next recycling date. Please don't do it before then. So, with that, I want, yes?
Also working on a cleanup, pick up Livingston, pick it up Livingston.
You can say tomorrow.
I don't want to. We're also working on hopefully an April day for Pick It Up Livingston. So we hadn't had it last year because of, just COVID slowed everything down, but we're going to get groups out again, and we're going to clean up the town on an April date to be determined. So looking forward to that.
Thanks, Councilman. And I want to thank everyone here. We are remaining in open session and going back to the conference room to finish those items on the conference agenda, followed by a closed session. Our next meeting is scheduled for February 27, 2023. Thank you.